All right. Everyone, welcome to our first careers panel. Excited to be doing it as part of Launch Week. It's a really exciting experience. So if you don't know what Launch Week is, we decided to do a welcome week of sorts for esports. And today we just had our town hall meeting and followed up by the town hall meeting. I am privileged and honored to be sitting with both of these professionals talking a little bit about the esports development here on campus and how you can be involved from a career perspective. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce both panelists. As you can see, they're right up there, but why don't you both introduce yourself?
I'm Dr. Kurtis Homan. I work in the management department and teach the esports curriculum here. How much more do you want of that?
What's your favorite game?
Right now, Tekken 7, and of course, Tekken 8 is coming out in T-9. So,
Well, and I'm Dr. Julie Pitzer. I go by Julie, and I teach in the mass communications program. I'm the chair of the department there. And my favorite game, I'm old school. So,
Sure.
like, I still like Dr. Mario is like my jam, but I do play
Okay.
updated things too. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So that's awesome. And I'm Chase Neukam. I'm the director of esports here. I also teach in the mass communications department, and I will be the moderator for the panel today, asking the hard hitting questions that we're all dying to know the answers to. So without further ado, we'll just jump straight into the first question. So the first question is, how can I get involved with esports at St. Cloud State? Or how can a general community member get involved with esports at St. Cloud State?
want to work down this
Yeah,
way.
let's
or
move.
some-
Either of you feel free to take it.
Either way. I think it's incredibly easy of the opportunities that we have here to get involved, either in the front end of being in front of a camera, on the back end doing production, or even just being part of our clubs, academy, or varsity teams. If you want to be a player, which the research is showing that like 80-90% of people in esports play at some capacity. And so it's very easy to start as a player and then get roped in. But we also have a lot of staff that aren't endemic into gaming that also work behind the scenes that is more in line with their professional career that they plan to have.
Yeah, completely agreed. Julie?
Yeah. Well, I think what I really like is the living learning communities that you can find your people and your game place, and do your tournaments within dorms as well as coming to, the arena and other spaces. Can find your major eventually, your minor, get involved in production and all those things.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, right? It's not just one specific thing.
Yeah.
You can get involved from a community standpoint, from a competitive standpoint, like you said, or why we're here, the career standpoint, right? So, surprised neither of you talked about the courses. It's crazy because there's so many opportunities, right? So that's another additive, right? Is the courses. We do have minors here on campus. We have certificates. There's so many ways to be involved. I know I've worked with students one-on-one with internship opportunities. So really, to summarize, the two of you said it's everything. It's endemic. How can you get involved in esports? Well, what do you want to be involved with in esports? Awesome. So let's move on to the next question. For the second question, how can students get internship credit for any esports related activities in esports?
So for the internship, one of the classes that I'm in charge of is experiential esports. And that's a prime opportunity that if you already have an internship lined up, or if you're just looking to try to get something, I try to arrange your background of what you have been studying for the last couple of years and what I want to get involved in. And then we try to find an appropriate match outside of the university so you can get that hands-on experience and pull it in. And then better yet, you get credit and then hopefully get paid along the way.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And feel free to answer from an endemic standpoint to broadcasting as well, Julie,
Yeah.
if there's other opportunities to get internship credit there.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have kind of two ways you can do it. One is through our student organization, UTBS. So students who want to participate in the organization take on a role within esports in broadcasting or some level of production. They can get internship credits. And if you also want a more, say, like exhaustive kind of experience, you can, work for this guy and we will give you internship credits. Or if you go and find your own experience in esports somewhere, we can give internship credits off campus too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To add, the only other thing I might add to both of those is, like I said, if there's a student that wants to do something related to esports, but unsure how to get an internship credit, don't worry about the internship credit part. Come to me, talk with me about it, and I'm happy to figure that piece out, that component out. And it can be in anything. Like I think a great example is at my former university, I had a student that really saw a need in growing our GPA on our team. And so she made a proposal to get a work study position for herself, and she got internship credit through that work study position. And that position actually became a staple in our program. So just goes to show, put yourself out there, right? All right. So moving on to the third question. What careers are there in esports? And this is generalization because a lot of people think, how are those kids playing games and making money? And that kind of has been around for almost 10 plus years now. People have been doing that. So what other career opportunities are there within the esports industry that folks here at St. Cloud State could dabble in to get ready for and prepare?
Yeah, it's whatever you want to get. The research is showing that there's a vast variety of jobs that you can have, from professional support services like legal, accounting, financing to that point. Or if you want to take even the side of teen ownership, as more publishers are getting into the space of allowing that, or if you want to be a player or just start your own publication, or as I'm sure Julie will talk about, broadcasting is also a very big deal. So being able to manage in that, and what I like to teach in my courses are related to having an entrepreneurial spirit in which you find gaps in the industry and you pave your own way. And so while there are some traditional methods of, going into a CS degree and then doing programming for a specific publisher, or you can take a non-traditional way and do whatever you feel like.
Pave your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before you answer, Julie, I wanted to ask, that entrepreneurial spirit you were talking about. You said you teach it in your course, so you must believe it's pretty important to engage in esports with an entrepreneurial spirit. Can you talk a little bit more about that and what that means for someone that's new to business and maybe has no idea what an entrepreneur is?
So within the management department, I teach entrepreneur courses, both intro as well as business planning and small businesses, as well as traditional management courses. The people that takes specific esports courses, we try to focus on what each individual student wants to have. So while my curriculum focuses on these are the needs to know no matter what type of job you're looking for, we then spend some of that time to help guide and identify those gaps to see, I really want to be a TIA or a bracket runner, something of that nature. And then we essentially build off of that. And it's more of a guided learning experience rather than that's more focused on method compared to a step-by-step process, which a lot of traditional management roles are taught. And so some people do very well with the step-by-step process, and other students want that entrepreneurial methodology and mindset as they approach problems. And so we try to adapt it based on if it's appropriate for the course and the student at large. So very adaptable.
So fascinating. Thank you. Julie.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, in the same spirit, our students work in social media, they work in advertising, promotions of events, and those experiences you can get right here on campus as well. But moving into the productions and that world is really what we're about in our minor. So, what do you want to do in this area? Camera work. Do you want to direct? Do you want to produce shows and everything that goes within that space?
So when you say produce shows, what does that mean?
Or yeah, well,
we're gonna unpack that now.
yeah. So what we train students for is really the whole world of esports broadcasting and broadcasting in general. So looking from everything from graphics, audio, camera placement, all of the cameras that are attached to all the players, and just the whole production of it, who's running the show and making those calls. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So What other opportunities, say someone gets involved with UTVS
Mhm.
and they do some esports broadcasting and they go, wow, this is fascinating. I want to do this for other areas. What other areas does UTVS cover in terms of broadcasting?
Well, outside of esports, they run all over campus. I mean, if you want to work in sports, you can work in HP and shoot hockey games. You can come and form your own show. So we have a film critic show right now that was revived. It just yeah, lots of shows and programming,
Okay,
and working a lot of events on campus. So
awesome.
lots of opportunities.
Great.
Yeah.
And as we saw at the beginning of this panel, both of their information, it will be on the slideshow so you can rewind. Feel free to reach out to them via email if you're wanting to get connected in either the business side of esports or in the broadcasting side of esports, which I'm sure you will. I'm sure you'll rewind now and go check that out. So let's look at question 4. What do we got next? We got what are all included in our esports minors? So we have a broadcasting minor and we have a management minor, obviously. So unpackaging those, what's included in those that from the traditional sense of broadcasting and management is required, and how does that fit into esports related activities or esports related themes?
So on the traditional buildup of the required core before you start doing an esports minor is the typical, intro to management, operations management. You have a finance class, an accounting class, or you can also do the entrepreneur class if you don't want to do the management style. Once you get into the esports management minor, then we offer 3 courses. The first one being the event planning. And so we have designed hands-on learning experience of what it's like to being a TO and a bracket runner, of how you make real-time decisions as you would in a tournament setting, as well as learn about different tournament structures. For those that want to learn more about it, we go deeper into seeding methodologies, all that other fun stuff of like the competition side. Then we also offer structure and governance, in which we look at legal issues that have impact and govern essentially the esports ecosystem and landscape. That was actually written by a lawyer in esports for over 8 years. Got to speak with him, super cool guy. And we investigate even current issues. So even just what happened 2 days ago now of this recording, the court case of Billy Mitchell that started way back when, probably before some of you may have just been born, finally ended. And so we hit key moments in that court case and how that has shaped over time. And even we're going to use that throughout the semester of how it still impacts decisions today in other organizations. And then the last course is the experiential learning, which is entirely tailored for what that specific student wants to do. If it's to try to launch their own business, if it's trying to help an existing business that they already have, or if general marketing or something business related. But there's a big factor of kind of expected value, that you're actually making money, as a lot of esports organizations start with that burning passion to start, but don't have that business acumen. So in my courses, we focus on building up that business acumen so you actually stay longer than 5 years. Stay open for longer than 5 years.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Once again, fingers crossed. Yeah, coming from someone who ran a land center for a year, I think that all of those are very valuable schools from an entrepreneur schools of thought from an entrepreneurial standpoint that I think more business related esports professionals should really consider on how they reach that market, right? And I think coming at it from an entrepreneurial perspective is very spot on. As someone dear to me would say, right on the nose, right on the nose. So, Julie.
Okay. Well, in the minor for esports broadcasting, we start you out just making sure you can run equipment. So teaching you teaching you the technical basics of audio, video editing, camera work, and then moving you right into production. So we have a course that you'll actually come into the arena and work with the esports team to shoot some live broadcasts, as well as working in courses with graphics and helping you learn After Effects to be able to create some unique designs on your own. Advanced editing is another course that we built for the esports curriculum. So you can be able to build, shows with multi views and green screen. And we have one of our most newest classes that we just rolled out, which is our esports casting and promotions class. So
Yeah, I hear the professor is a real hard guy to get along with.
I don't know. I mean, you can come talk to me about that.
I'm the professor. It's me. I'm the hard guy.
Yeah.
The guy that's hard to get along with. So 100%. Great course though, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
structured so that you are able to essentially get that commentary experience while you're in college. So it's not great if you're looking for a class with a ton of homework. I don't assign any homework. It is all project based, which I believe is essential to this space. So the minors, lots going on here at St. Cloud State with the minors, and two folks that are leading the way and paving what this is going to look like for years to come. Their experience is invaluable in this space. So with that being said, our fifth question is, how can esports engagement complement my career path? So what they're learning in your courses, how will that complement in a tangential sort of career path, or how can they utilize that in a career, say, not just directly with esports, but with entrepreneurship, owning a business, or broadcasting, producing shows?
So I can take this multiple different ways. I'll take it into more of the theoretical fanciness that we have. But the big word that I want to stress is networking opportunities, especially as gaming has now evolved past it rots brains, it's bad for kids and all that stuff. And there's been hundreds of studies here. You can go read them yourself. It's good for you. There's far more benefits that outweigh any cons that exist. And the networking opportunities that people can actually share and get along with each other and have a conversation after work or even during work. I know I've had a conversation with colleagues about StarCraft 2 when that was getting super popular. And that was one way that we blew steam. And it's the exact same conversations that you've probably heard other colleagues talk about basketball games or hockey games. This is now the new medium that instead of just talking about something that you watched, gaming allows you to actually have that interaction with each other rather than just testing knowledge of memorizing facts. We can actually test each other's reaction skills. And so it actually helps build that camaraderie beyond just the game, which is regularly used by our students as study breaks here at SCSU.
Yeah. No, I think that you once again hit the nail on the head. I think that as we're developing here at St. Cloud State, it's important that our students recognize that this just isn't something that they can apply just directly to esports. However, esports is a great outlet for them to utilize these sort of experiences. So no, I completely agree with you. Julie.
Right. I'll follow that up. Uh, I think, well, what I love about university and college in general is you really won't make a wrong choice, because really what we're all about is learning about how we are humans interacting with our world. And so, whatever made you are, when you pick an esports minor, you're going to get experiences to take with you wherever you go. Just thinking about camaraderie, right, with your peers, networking that comes from that. I still have friends that we will shoot things together, right? And leadership skills, right? How to work with a team, those growth opportunities, right? Communication skills. So you can really take anything and break it down into those elements. And why not have fun playing games on, at the same time, right? So I mean, yeah.
So yeah,
And probably eating some pizza, right?
at some point. Oh, but that's a really interesting point from both of you, because I'm really excited for a day and age where instead of we have people from a traditional degree coming into esports, we have traditional esports people going out into other spaces and working in those other spaces. I'm really excited for that. And it goes to show that what we're doing here in terms of careers, it's not just preparing you for esports. It certainly is, but it's giving you more than that. It's giving you the ability to utilize and really unlock your brain and your potential and how you can engage the world around you via communications, right? Or via networking and camaraderie, right? So I think that is more beneficial than just this is how to play said game, right? And that's actually how you're going to develop as a person, with or without esports. So I think the application in esports is invaluable. Let's move on to question 6. What excites you about esports development at St. Cloud State? You like my transitions? How they're going right into the next question? It's great.
I'll start this time.
Okay, go ahead.
I got this one. All right. Well, I have a pioneer spirit. Like I love being part of new things and that cutting edge of design and being able to shape. So I think that is where we're at and already moving through that with esports at St. Cloud State. So the students that are in this room that you probably can't see, right? They're part of the cutting edge right now that are building this experience that you would have and bringing on right new people with lots of experience just kind of builds this program. And I think we're just barely moving into the spaces that we have the opportunity to grow in. We have minors now, but just wait, right? So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, Without sharing too many personal conversations that we've had, the amount of opportunities that are now available compared to even when I was an undergrad at ISU, and we were just starting our own fighting game club, which has now expanded significantly since over the course of time. I think it's the scholarship opportunities and the recognition of the university of allowing the resources to saying that you're accepted, that you're not just some fringe thing, the last Saturday of the semester or anything else, that we're now giving you the same resources and opportunities that any other club or any other sport is essentially having. And so when I hear about the new developments, without getting too emotional, it's just unbelievable that we got this far and we've been evolving over time. So every single week I hear something new is coming up, either from Chase or the university's announcement, and even what other universities are doing of working together to build up the entire ecosystem within esports and collegiate is just, it's hard to go to sleep without a smile on my face, is basically how I'll end that.
Well, any day you talk to me, I know you go to sleep with a smile on your face. So we're a joy to be around. So esports development here, I think that the thing that excites me most, which I'm biased about, obviously, because I'm a part of building it, but it's you both. It's working with the careers section of a developing program with folks who don't just want to put out, and I'm not throwing shade at any other university, but folks who don't just want to put out a minor, right? It's folks that genuinely care about the experience of what we're building here with our students. And it's typically pretty rare. I've been very impressed because it's rare that I walk into a room and there are people surrounding me that know more about esports than I do. And I've found that multiple times I've been here, I am not the subject matter expert in the room. And that is so refreshing to be in an environment of folks that want to grow that genuinely say, all right, this is taking off. How do we do this the right way? Not just throw it out there and make it happen. So I think what excites me most about the development is how all in we are at once with an understanding that this is going to be a slow roll over the next couple of years. We're not just shotgunning an approach and throwing everything out there at once. We're really setting the seeds and growing what esports is going to be, like you said, in the next 5, 6, 7, 10 years. So certainly that's throwing my 2 cents in. I think when we think about development here, students don't see that end of it. But there are a lot that go in the back end, especially with both of you developing our minors. The foundation to make that happen is incredible, and it's very tough. It's a lot of work. So, final question of today: what can I do to prepare for my professional career post graduation now? So, how can students prepare when they graduate and they want to be a broadcaster, or when they graduate and they want to own a business? What can they do right now that you both think back when you were in college and you were about to prepare for graduation? If you could give yourself any advice, knowing what you know now, what would you tell the students?
Want me to go first again, or you want to
Oh.
take? Rochambeau for it real quick. Just reiterating words is networking, networking, networking. And then that's true for basically any discipline that you're trying to go into. My generalized advice, and this is for esports and non-esports, is you either pick a location where you want to live or you pick an industry in which you want to thrive in. And you should then have every step and every free second that you have devoted to that end goal. You may not, say you want to go to LA post graduation. You should then start identifying what are the gaps that you need to fill to get there. Do you need to know somebody in LA to help you get there? Do you need to help with funding or where to live? Anything else? If you're looking in the gaming, specifically esports aspect, do you want to work for a publisher? Do you want to work for a third party tournament organizer? And you should investigate, and figure out who to know. And if you don't know someone, you figure out someone who knows someone, and you just keep going down that line. And that's something that you can start now, even as a high school student. That's something that you can begin doing. Esports is essentially an open barrier in that regard. And yeah, you'll get unanswered emails from time to time. But what is very strong is that persistence of just and never giving up within that space. And so that's something that you can start now. And if you're a freshman in high school or a senior in college, that's a blanket advice I give everyone.
Awesome. Juli?
Student advising is one of my favorite things. So I would say, right, because each of you have a unique, like it's like a painting, right? What do you want to do? So I think it's for most everyone, it is okay. What should you do now is start building up experience, right? Go to class, super important. Get your classes in. But what can you do on the side that will really help you build that demo reel, that resume, that gets you, a little less green when you go into the industry, whatever that you might choose. So the more language you have, the more experience you have, the more, contacts you can make. It really helps set you up in a really good place when it comes to graduation. Don't try to do that all your senior last semester. It can be done, but yes. But if you can do little bits and kind of build those little steps along the way, you'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that adding to both of what you said from more of, I think that's back end planning thinking. Front end, it's simple. Go to events. Just go. That's how you network. And don't just go to like the world championships of said game. Go support your local events and your regional events that are going on in your area. And like Julie said, don't do it in your last semester, because from a resume perspective, if you go and work an event, I don't, if I'm hiring for an event, I don't care if you were a student. You worked the event, right? So if you work an event over the course of 4 years that you're at college, rather than all in that last semester, it really shows that you've been involved for the past few years. So from that perspective, both of your answers conceptually were awesome, but it can be confined, and those ideas can be confined into go and take that rhetoric at an event, meet people in person, don't be afraid to have those hard conversations that may seem, I have anxiety a little bit. It may seem a little daunting when you're at the event. You're like, oh, that's the guy, that's the person. Just walk up and say, hey, really introduce yourself. Obviously, have some social cognizance. If they're working and they're stressed or they're doing something, don't just interrupt them, but get in there, talk to them. Because 9 times out of 10, that's why they're there in the first place, is community, and they want to connect with you too. Yeah, when I was at the Smite launch tournament, when I was in high school going into college, I talked to the CEO of Hi-Rez, and I asked, what should I do? And the advice that I'm giving right now was the advice that he gave me. He was like, separate from Smite, just in esports, go to events, get out there.
When I think, yeah, no, I think that I would echo. I lived overseas for a couple of years, and my supervisor, I lived in Australia. He's Tongan, and he said, Julie, no matter what, like your vision is, like wherever you want to get to, always feed it. So that is that idea, right? Like even if this semester you can't volunteer, you can't do something, what else are you going to do to feed it? So it might be just being able to attend something, or it might be able to just play and get better at a game on the side, or so just keep feeding that vision and you'll get there. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, there's even people that don't have access to broadcasting equipment. That doesn't mean you can't script something out,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't mean
Yeah.
that you can't shoot it on your phone if you have a phone that can at least record video. Bold, italicize now, do it now, get involved now. And that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to prepare students for that. So without further ado, thank you all so much for attending today. Let's give a round of applause for our panelists.
Anything else?
Thank you.
I mentioned earlier, you are more than welcome. Go to the beginning, rewind back to the beginning of this, look at their information, reach out to them. You can find us online at stcloudstate.edu/esports to learn more about everything we're doing in the esports space. I've been Chase Neukam with Dr. Juli Pritzel and Dr. Kurtis Homan, and we are signing off.